Michael Jackson's idol, the legendary influence of Bruce Lee. As a child, Michael Jackson loved watching Bruce Lee's movies, and he and his brothers were captivated by Bruce Lee's kung fu. Bruce Lee's films not only showcased exceptional martial arts skills, but also conveyed a spirit of perseverance and unique personal charisma, all of which deeply moved Michael Jackson. When Bruce Lee passed away, Michael Jackson was still in his teenage years, but he and his brothers were very saddened by Bruce Lee's death. They even shed tears. Michael's third brother, Jermaine Jackson, once said that Bruce Lee was the idol of the five brothers, and they were very upset by his death.
When he passed, we were on tour as the Jackson 5. We cried before we went on stage.
Once imitated Bruce Lee's kung fu moves at a concert in 1992, paying tribute to Bruce Lee and expressing his respect and admiration for him in this way. This imitation was not merely a simple mimicry of movements, but rather incorporated his understanding and interpretation of Bruce Lee's spirit, showcasing his admiration for Bruce Lee. He also once selected Bruce Lee's videotapes at a video store. After this action was exposed by netizens, it sparked discussions about his admiration for Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee was not only a martial artist, but also a philosopher, who conveyed Chinese culture and the spirit of perseverance and courage to the world through his films. Michael Jackson's admiration for Bruce Lee also stemmed from his recognition of the spirit that Bruce Lee represented. Bruce Lee's martial arts philosophy emphasized having no limitation as limitation. Having no limitation as limitation. This pursuit of freedom and innovation aligns perfectly with Michael Jackson's innovative spirit in music and dance. Michael Jackson's admiration for Bruce Lee was not only reflected in his love for Bruce Lee's kung fu movies, but he also personally visited Bruce Lee's hometown and spent $100,000 to purchase a statue of Bruce Lee. In 1987, Michael had just finished his tour in Japan, and the next stop was Sydney, Australia. A friend from Hong Kong asked him if he wanted to visit Hong Kong for a bit, and unexpectedly, Michael agreed immediately. He said, "I really want to go. I like Chinese kung fu movies and Bruce Lee." Due to his love for Bruce Lee, he first visited Shaw Brothers' studio. At that time, Simon Yam was filming The Book and the Sword, and Michael was very curious about the dragon robe of the emperor character played by Simon Yam, constantly touching it. He also wore traditional Chinese clothing with Hong Kong stars. He ordered a custom Zhongshan suit for himself. After some sightseeing, he exited through the Gongbei port and headed to Bruce Lee's hometown. Unlike his usual superstar image surrounded by bodyguards, he quietly toured the rural scenery of Zhongshan alone. That day, he arrived at the village by bus, and after getting off, he was filled with curiosity about everything there. Like a child new to the world, a water buffalo by the field caught his attention. He cautiously approached the buffalo, but it suddenly turned around, startling him. At that time, the villagers rarely saw foreigners and thought he was an African woman. Many children chased after him, and he was very happy. When he saw a little baby, he really liked to ask the baby's mother, "Can I hold him?" He skillfully held the child and smiled happily. Later, in his autobiography, he included that photo, saying, "I couldn't resist the charm of these Chinese children." Feeling a bit tired from walking, he asked an elderly lady by the roadside for a bowl of water, and took the opportunity to visit her simple living room and back hall. Despite the language barrier, he kept trying to communicate with the elderly lady using gestures. Before leaving, he kindly took a photo with her, giving most of the camera's focus to the elderly lady. He also secretly left 2,000 Hong Kong dollars at her home for repairs. Michael stayed in Zhongshan for 7 hours, and the villagers, unaware of his superstar status, simply saw him as a very cheerful foreigner. He took photos with anyone who wanted to, After Michael returned, he thoughtfully had his assistant organize all the photos and sent them to the local villagers. In 2009, when the superstar Michael Jackson passed away, his Chinese fans went to Zhongshan City, where he had visited, to hold a musical memorial in his honor. Although Michael Jackson and Bruce Lee did not have much overlap in time, they both influenced the world in their own ways. Bruce Lee opened a new era of martial arts films with his kung fu movies, bringing Chinese culture to the world. Michael Jackson, on the other hand, became a symbol of global pop culture through his music and dance. Michael Jackson's admiration for Bruce Lee also reflected Bruce Lee's influence on a global scale. Bruce Lee's kung fu and spirit transcended cultural and geographical boundaries, becoming an idol in the hearts of many. Michael Jackson's admiration for Bruce Lee was not only a tribute to an artist, but also an acknowledgement of a spirit and culture. Although the two superstars achieved brilliant success in different fields, they both inspired the world in their own ways.